That I know that I'm an Israelite. Every once in a while on my For You page, I come across one of those videos that's like, I'm no longer a part of the Hebrew Israelite cult, and here's why. And when I say that I know that I'm an Israelite, I mean that I'm awakened to the fact that my ancestors, that I'm descendant from the Hebrews, the Israelites of the Bible. I'm not a member of any camp or association or organization, and I didn't come to the knowledge of this truth through social media, through a camp, or through an organization. That being said, every single time I watch one of these videos, there are reoccurring themes, and there are things that these people are complaining of that is consistent throughout all of their testimonies. I guess my question is, when do we as a community look at these experiences that these people are having, that our brothers and sisters are having? Because honestly, at the end of the day, whether they recognize that they are Israelites by blood, by inheritance, they are Israelites. So whether they identify with that or they have just separated themselves from the organization that they were once a part of, they are still people. What point do we take some accountability? At what point do we look at these experiences and we say, hey, there is a problem of pride in this community? At what point do we say that there is a spirit of unrighteous hatred that's rampant in the community? At what point do we acknowledge that there is a spirit of lust rampant in the community? At what point do we acknowledge that there is an issue with domestic violence within the community? At what point do we understand that if we are calling ourselves Yasharel, if we are calling ourselves Israel, Yasharel?
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles, GMS, who do real well, and peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. My name is Rapash Schwab. As you just heard, this lady spitting. They said, sis spitting. No, it's not spitting shit. That's not nothing. Everything that she said is irrelevant to the fact of what the I guess you could say what the Lord has established, through his men. And see, this is why we always say that women should, just shut up, man. Because you're gonna end up you're gonna get yourself judged. And there's division has always been a thing. That's in the scriptures. We're reenacting. If you understand what's going on, if you're in this truth, what's going on is reenacting the righteous acts of old. That's what's going on, man. The Lord is playing these things out. And guess what? As far as the Hebrew Israelite community, it's not a fucking community. See, the thing about this group over here, and I guess you could say from what we believe in, from the elders and apostles who taught us on down, you got it from somebody. Whether you love or you want to believe it or not, you got this truth from somebody, man. They got it from somebody, they got it from somebody, they got it from you. So that's a fucking lie. It's not a community. It is in fact it's a heritage, and it's not something that we just came up and we just want to mingle it. Because when you say it's a community, they try to mingle that in with the world, like, make it rural friendly. We not rural friendly, man. The prophets wasn't rural friendly. Everything to see, the thing about this sect here is about prophecy, man. You talk about prophecy, but at the end of the day, let me just go here, get some scriptures, man. Because this is what we be talking about, man. This is not, I see why the elders and the apostles, the older I get, I see why the elders and apostles, I guess in the spirit just get, how they get messed up over this type of stuff, it angers you, bro. When you understand the type of work that you put in, that you continuously put in, and you got these TikTok scoffers, which they probably set up, and why they always coming against the Hebrew Israelites. So that's what I always want to know. That's what I'm starting to, why you always got a problem with what we do and what we say. If you got a problem with it, then, move on. Nobody asked you to come around us, or nobody's begging you to come around us, man. But see, this is the thing. They'll say all these things about you, but they won't get on the Christian community. They won't show. They're not going to tell you what's really going on in the Catholic community. All these different denominations, all the pedophilia going on in those organizations. The oral, what they call it in the Holy Land, giving oral circumcisions, man. It does infuriate you, bro. But at the end of the day, this is a lie, and everybody's in their lie. This ain't something of any movement. This ain't nothing like that. In certain aspects, you might be right. There's a lot of things that go on. But guess what? The Lord ordained it that way. He set up false camps, and he set up the righteous camps. And camps has always been a part of the ministry, man. But at the end of the day, let's get some scriptures. And man's labors, man. Because see, This is the thing, man. We're entering into other man's labors. You got the scripture. You got the scriptures from somebody. You understand? And they got it from somebody, and it's been passed down. The Lord ordained these things. So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 15. And yeah. First, it says, not boasting of our things without our measure. And that's what it sounds like you was doing. I could hear the pride in your voice, boasting in whatever knowledge you might think you have, what have you. This is why women just should shh. You know, when it comes, I see why they tell you just to shh. Seriously, man. Like, it's bad right about now if you don't learn how to shh. It says, not boasting things without our measure. That is, it says, of other man's labors, man. So we're entering into other man's labors. You know, you didn't get this for yourself. The Lord, you know, he gives you the spirit, but you definitely didn't get it for yourself. He set up men. Who did he set, and how did he set up men? Through this ministry, man. Some men were set up to lead away. The false prophets were set up to lead away the undesirables, and the ones that was desired was going to find out the truth. They were going to be led towards the truth, man. It says, but having hope, when your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged. It says, by you, according to our rule abundantly. This is what it says, preach. And this is what we've been called. This is what we do. You know, the prophet, the elder brothers, the younger brothers. You know, this is what they've been doing. This is what it is. We go out, we preach the gospel. It says to preach the gospel in regions beyond you, and not to boast in other man's line of things made ready to our hand, man. It says, but he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord, man. You know. And that's another thing, man. You know, you get on these TikTok and you keep, you know, spewing nonsense. You know, and these things do go on in the Hebrew Israelite community. And guess what? You know, that's what you have sex. That's what the brothers at GMS do. They correct. You know, I myself, you know what I'm saying? We see something, we report it, man. That's what the Lord told us to do. Feed the flock. Preach in season, out of season. Constantly learn, constantly grow in this truth, man. But at the end of the day, see, they try to make this truth a real friendly thing. This isn't a real friendly thing. We have to be separate from the world. Be ye separate. Be ye holy, man. You know, and see you. They watch a couple of Israelite groups, you know, maybe one or two, or all these different camps that pop up. Let's get it, man. And that's how you end up getting confused, man. You know, and thank the Lord, man. Thank the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. Damn, man. You see what be going on with my phone stuff. Jeez. Yeah, I can't even type right now, man. It's going. But anyways, I'm gonna get one more verse, cause I see she had 2 verses on there. That was just one verse out of many. I'm gonna get one verse that my phone is acting up. But yeah, just quick hit on that, man. You know, we're not for the community. We're not a religious sect. We're not anything of desire. Now we're gonna get in. You know, we're gonna show you. And the Lord set this. He set it up like this. Oh my goodness. 6G my ass, man. This Romans 16 and 17. I'm gonna read out of the NLT. It says, and now I make more appeal, my dear brothers and sisters, watch out for people who cause divisions and upset people's faith by teaching things contrary to what you have been taught. Stay away from them. And this is what the the order that the Lord gave Paul, you know. And that's where you get it wrong, because, you know, there is going to be division amongst the people. There's always been division amongst the people. There's always been bickering amongst the camps, amongst the Israelites, the Gentiles, the Jews that knew who they were, and the ones who were waking up to who they were by way of the Spirit and their belief in Yahweh Shah, man. That's always been a thing. You know, we get it right here. It's in Acts. Let me see, man. I'm getting it from here, bro. Because my phone is tripping. Good thing I had this up. There's always been division amongst the camps, man. This ain't something that you just come into and you just get automatically, man. And see, this is the thing. You end up, shooting yourself in the foot because, like I said, you watch certain Israelite groups, but you let these one or two or three groups that may have said something, may have, cut you to the heart, may have piss you off a little bit. At the end of the day, this is not a community. This is actually of the Most High God Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shai, and it's all by way of the Spirit. It's in Lord willing. If you see you fit, you continue to work with you. But at the end of the day, no. I mean, there's always been division. This is Acts chapter 15 and verse 22. It says, "Then it pleased the apostles with the whole church to send chosen men of their own company." And why? What is a company? That's a camp. You have your company, you have your camp, you have your people that you travel with. That set up, take down, your tents, whatever have you. They was traveling. Paul and Barnabas, they was traveling from camp to camp, city to city back then. But really, through the World Wide Web, that's what you have this internet for. You got the camps, of the different camps at different cities. The different groups. GMS being one of the top, I believe the top group. Spiritually and just ordained, anointed. But at the end of the day, that's what we get chosen to do. You try to make this world friendly, and that's what happens, man. Chosen men of their company to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas, namely Judas, named Barsabbas, and Silas, chief men among the brethren. And they wrote letters to them, and they wrote letters by them after this manner. The apostles and elders and brethren send greetings unto brethren, which are of the Gentiles in Antioch and Syria and Sicilia. For as much as we have heard certain which went out from us have troubled you with words, subverting your souls, saying, Ye must be circumcised, keep ye the law, to whom we gave no such commandment. And that just goes to show you that there's always been a division between the believers in Yahweh Shai, and then you had the sect of the Israelites that were, they were more so of the law. You got to, they were shoving the law down your throat. But they understand that you couldn't do that because you had people that was coming out of, Gentile lifestyles, Gentile ways, learning who they were, coming back to who they were, proclaiming their heritage, man. And see when you make it, like I said, when you try to make it a world friendly thing, this being the revival of the Roman Empire, it's not gonna be world friendly, man. It's not supposed to be world friendly because what did the Lord say He came to do? He came to cause division. Oops. No, that's not the one I want, man. Salaki, man. And I said, and it's at the tip of my tongue, at the tip of my head too, man. Anyways, like I said, I pretty much got to the point, anyways, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, this truth is not supposed to be real friendly. And again, it's not about the community. It's about the hopeful elect. Okay, let me get that too. We might as well get that. Oops. This is Matthew chapter 13, verse 19. It says, "For there will be greater anguish in those days than any time since God created the world, and it will never be so great again." So pretty much that's what we do over here. We pretty much warn you, tell you of the times that's going to come, and we preach, prophesy, like we said, Paul pretty much beseech the brethren to do. We're reenacting the righteous acts of old to the best of our ability, but we also are to keep the law to the best of our ability. And that's because at the end of the day, nothing else worked for us. What else worked? Christianity didn't work. Catholic didn't work. And Abraham himself was a Hebrew. So what else? What are you going to call yourself? A black Hebrew Israelite? No, we ain't just black. We were Hebrews through the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. See, this is the thing. This isn't just something that you can just read and just figure out you get it. No, this is a spiritual thing, but it's a lineage. And you would have to come through one of those lineage, from one of those bloodlines of the 12 tribes, man. It says, in fact, it says, in fact, unless the Lord shortens the time, and that's what's going on right now. You know, people are finally are waking up, and you know, even TikTokers saying things they ought not to say, speaking. You know, it's all playing out how it's supposed to play out, brothers. So just stay focused, man. You know, I just wanted to really just bring this out. You know, just for any new believers out there, just understand, you know, that this isn't something that you see how people get led astray into the world, and then they have an opinion about the Israelite movement, the Hebrew Israelites, particularly. You know, they call it a community, but we're not really a community. We believe who we were, the people of the Bible. We're the people of the book, man. We fit through prophecy, through archaeology. You know, we fit the description of the curses. And until this day, we believe the Lord's name to be Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, man. It says, in fact, unless the Lord shortens that time of calamity, not a single person will survive. It says, but for the sake of his chosen ones, the elect, right? He has shortened those days, man. So it just goes to show the Lord has the elect. You have Israel, you know, there's Israel like set up to cause division. There's Israelites set up to pretty much lead away the undesirables, to lead away the ones that the Lord doesn't want. And then there's Israelites set up to bring in to the truth of who the Lord does want. So if you've been given this truth, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from on high, and the Lord is dealing with you, you know, then, hey, at the end of the day, call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, may He continue to guide you in this, man. But at the end of the day, you know, just beware, man. You know, because we in a time where, like, we see in judgment. I was just scrolling through my phone, you know, just looking at the breaking news, man, and there's just judgment all over the place, man. So a lot is going on, and you know, just be careful of these type of things out here. These type of individuals, you know, just with the mindset of, well, what are we going to stop? You know, checking we need to stop proclaiming the Hebrew Israelite community. I mean, that's our heritage. We are Hebrew. We are the Israelites. If you believe that you come from the 12 tribes of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man, that's what you are. This ain't no community United States fucking funded thing, man. You know? So at the end of the day, you know, just brothers and sisters, just beware and keep your crown, keep your faith. Stuff like that's going to happen. It's going to keep happening, but it's just snares set up to deter you from the faith. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles, GMS, who do rule well, and peace and blessing to all elect. Shalom.